Planet Vero Studio is powered by the Nolan Group of eXp Realty. MyNextHomeFinder.com.
Treasure Coast Connector. Connecting residents and businesses of the Treasure Coast. And here's your host, Ellen Contreras.
Well, welcome to Treasure Coast Connector. I'm your host, Ellen Contreras. My company, by the same name, is one of the show's sponsors, and we help businesses to promote their services and products in the marketplace. And we do this through websites, lead generation programs, social media marketing, video production, advertising, PR, articles in the news, and so much more. All the details are on the website, www.tcconnector.com, or call 772-925-4557. Treasure Coast Connector, the show, puts a spotlight on local business owners because everyone has an interesting story of why they do what they do. And when we learn about them and do business locally, it strengthens our local economy. It isn't every day that you need something notarized. And when you do, you think, oh, the bank, that's my option. Well, that's not necessarily the case. There are really good reasons to use a mobile notary service, and the benefits are obvious when you're in a particular situation or a time crunch, as we'll learn in a few moments. Joining me in the studio today is Jonathan Rexford, and he is known all over the Treasure Coast and beyond as the Notary Man. And he is here to talk about the services he provides, and he's going to share some details about how he can help you save time, money, and aggravation. So welcome to the show, Jonathan.
Thanks for having me, Ellen.
Yeah, I'm really glad that you're here because truly there were a few things that you taught me that I hadn't even thought of about the benefits of why mobile notary actually is like a stress relief. And we're going to get to that in a moment. But before we do, I'd like for everyone to know why you wanted to become a notary public.
Oh, wow. Well, that's going to have to go back in time. I wasn't born with the idea of wanting to be a notary public.
Yeah.
But I had my commission back in the 90s for our construction company at that time, and I had let it go. Well, I was already in the real estate business, and right around the last financial debacle that we had with real estate, I was buying some properties, and I ran across a lady that was a mobile notary. She came to my office, and I closed a real estate transaction. Well, we became friends over the years. I had helped her with certain real estate transactions, and right around 2016, she had decided to let her commission to go, and she said, "You need to become a notary." And I said, "Why in the world would I want to do that?" And so I said, "You know what? That's a good idea. Let me just try something," because I was getting burned out from real estate. Yeah. And I obtained my commission, which was just simply renewing it. And I was started off. Everything was just been 6 years later.
Wow. Okay.
So started doing more mobile stuff, and I love it.
Well, very good. Now, if you could explain what a notary public is and what it is not. Okay. Because a lot of people really don't know.
Well, we're commissioned by the governor. We have to, pass a background check, go ahead and pay the fee to the state, and he gives us our appointment, and we get our little seal, looks like a little diploma, that kind of thing. And what we do is, as a notary public, we're kind of I call it that we are the gateway to prevent fraud.
Okay, very good.
So we authenticate signatures. We may give people oaths, that kind of thing. And there's certain things that a notary public can't do. We cannot give legal advice.
Okay.
We're not attorneys. And that's kind of an often misconception when we receive those phone calls. They're asking us, does this need to be done? Does that need to be done? And that's outside of our area of expertise. And we usually refer them to an area law firm, or maybe show them a resource that they could find that information online.
Okay. All right. Very nice. Very good. And then when I mentioned the banks, a lot of people, we're going to get into why the mobile aspect is so wonderful, but people think, oh, just going to go into the bank.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes they think that they're going to go into an office,
Mm-hmm.
but that's not always the case. And it's not personal.
Right.
But you also mentioned that there are some documents that banks don't necessarily sign. I didn't even think of that.
Yeah, well, it was kind of back in the day, we used to go to the bank to get a toaster when we opened up an account.
Yeah, I remember
and
those
they would always
days.
they would always
I'm not
provide
a spring
those.
chicken.
Yeah, they would always provide those services for us.
Yeah.
But over the years, we've become, they've become more of a financial institution.
Mm-hmm.
So they don't make any money off of a notary public. It can also be a liability for them, such as some of the documents.
Oh.
Some banks will not want to perform estate planning type documents, such as last will and testaments, durable power of attorneys, or healthcare surrogacy forms.
Okay.
They may do your common deed or that kind of thing, but anytime that they're asked to do a notary signing or something of that nature, it's pulling them away from opening an account from somebody else. Now, you're talking about the privacy. The thing of it is, when you go in there and you tell them what you're there for, the whole bank knows. It's public knowledge. I mean, it's out in the public.
Yeah.
And some of these documents, you may not want to let the public know, because we live in a wonderful town. Indian River County is wonderful. We have, 150,000 people here. But I'm going to tell you, 5 key people will tell everybody in the county your business.
Yeah, it's 2 degrees of separation.
Yep.
I can't even, if I want to have a quiet dinner, I don't look around the room of the restaurant, because chances are I'm going to know somebody.
Yeah.
If I just want to focus on my husband. Yeah. So, yeah. Very true.
Wonderful community.
I mean, it's great, but it is 2 degrees of separation. Okay. So now when it comes to the mobile aspect of it, I didn't even think of this, because, again, it's not every day you need something notarized, but you visit a lot of nursing homes and assisted living. So let's talk about some of the instances where they needed you to come to them.
Okay. Well, just like we were just talking a moment ago with banks not doing estate planning documents, a lot of times we'll come across situations where maybe a loved one is at that stage that they may be transferring to an assisted living facility.
Yeah.
And they need to have power of attorney done, healthcare surrogate form. They need to have those documents done. Well, there's probably a good chance you're not going to be able to throw them in a vehicle and take them down to the bank to see that they can't happen. So what will sometimes happen is that we'll either have the person that is kind of like helping them along contact us, or maybe a local attorney will call us and we'll go into the facility itself to perform those services. Each vehicle that we have is outfitted with a printer, scanner, computer, so we're able to provide on-site services while we're there at that time too, if we need to send stuff back to the attorney, or maybe send something to California, that kind of thing. So we're able to transfer those documents for people. But it just makes it a lot easier, especially with the coming out of when we were in the pandemic. It was a lot harder to do it then, but we got creative. We were able to still help facilitate those signings. Certain situations, I've had situations where, Friday I was at hospice house, and a young lady was losing her life because of sickness, and they had to get these documents signed, because if not, it would have been very costly later down the road whenever that person's not around. So it's a needed service. And also, going back to the privacy aspect, it's the same cost. It's the same cost that, the state tells us what we can and cannot do. Yeah. And so we're able to, we charge for gas, basically. Should go up now with the higher prices that we're paying.
Oh my goodness!
But certainly we do provide that service.
Okay, well that's very good. And so that was something that I was going to ask you about as well. So we'll segue right into that, because I also learned from you that the state of Florida does dictate to the notary publics what they can charge for the signing. Okay. And so that's standard. However, for mobile notaries, yes, you do have to, you charge a fee for going to someone's office or home or assisted living facility. So that's, but it's not very costly.
No, it's customary for what you would probably spend going out to dinner, or to have somebody going into your home, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
We set our pricing by zip code here locally, just because we can tell where people are in our county. So if we have to go outside, we'll figure out what the mileage is and kind of come to that agreement.
Yeah.
But our standard fees are $10 per act. That's set by the state. We can't charge any more than that. We do give discounts for first responders, veterans, that kind of thing.
Nice.
So, because we do run across with those situations where we may have a large package and it can really add up.
Oh,
so,
sure.
So we certainly give them a discount.
Well, that's good. That's nice to know. And now I'm looking at the time. This is the perfect time to take a break before Cindy flags me down to do that. So we have really great information from our sponsors. So stay tuned. We'll be right back with Jonathan Rexford, the Notary Man.
At Sunshine Furniture, our 35,000 square foot showroom is filled with the largest selection of in-stock coastal furniture on the Treasure Coast. Dining and bedroom sets, occasional tables, sofas, sleeper sofas, love seats, and chairs, including lots of slipcover styles from Universal, Four Seasons, and Capri. We have a gallery of Tommy Bahama and Lexington with styles designed for a relaxed approach to the finer things in life. Right now, we're having a summer sale with lots of great markdowns, including all pictures, lamps, and accessories half price. Sunshine Furniture, 1295 US 1 in Vero Beach next to Planet Fitness. Family owned and operated since 1991. Don't forget to visit our outlet and closeout store directly across the street and visit our website at sunshinefurniturecasual.com.
Sunshine Furniture, the best in every way. Ooh, have a sunshine day. Sunshine Furniture, the best in every way. Ooh, have a sunshine day. Sunshine.
ITEX, or International Trade Exchange, is the largest barter company in the world, with over 25,000 members offering goods and services. We're a marketing company that brings you new business in the way of trade, with over 200 local members enjoying the benefits of ITEX, like lawyers, doctors, plumbers, media, printing, and more.
Hi, this is Liz Bowler. Contact me and find out why barter through ITEX has been smarter for over 30 years. 772-532-1881. Visit itex.com.
It's time to call Easy Brew Coffee and Bottled Water Service and learn just how much you can save and how convenient it is to have your coffee and bottled water delivered right to your home or office. In addition to water coolers, Easy Brew offers individual bottles of water in 8 or 16-ounce bottles. No more lugging it home or dragging it into the office. Serving the Treasure Coast for over 2 decades, 2 letters, 1 simple name. Easy for Easy Brew. Visit e-zbrew.com or call 800-792-3285. Easy Brew.
Well, welcome back to Treasure Coast Connector. I'm your host, Ellen Contreras, and I've been speaking with Jonathan Rexford, known as the Notary Man. You're a notary public, and you're mobile. Okay, and what I want you to do before I forget, because I wanted you to mention it in the first half, is how for the iHeartRadio people and the podcasters, if they want to connect with you, how do they get in touch with you?
Well, I'm all over social media. Certainly you can give me a ring, that number, or text me. We're at 772-321-2290. And I'm also online at notarynearmenow.com.
Very nice. Very good. And I learned something fun over the break with Cindy, because we've been talking about the serious reasons that somebody could use a mobile notary if someone's sick in the hospital and this and that. But you officiate at weddings.
Yes, I love that's my favorite part of the job. It really is. It is that. We can officiate weddings. I've done weddings anywhere from just the 2 of us. Well, 3 of us, really. Yeah. And I've done them as high as 300-400 people.
Oh, wow.
Full-blown events. But I like the small, intimate weddings.
Yeah.
Where I get to meet them and hear about their stories. And that's really why I like being a notary public, is I like collecting stories. I like listening to people's lives. So
Yeah, and you should have a podcast.
okay,
I'm just saying that right now because I think that would be great. And you have certainly have a great voice for podcasting.
Thank you.
And collecting of stories and sharing that in this quaint small town. I think we need that.
Yeah, so do
I think that would be a lot of fun. How many weddings did you say that you average a month?
I do about a dozen a month.
Wow.
My wife and I were laughing about this the other day. She said, "Why is there so many weddings?" I think it's just such a pent up demand from the pandemic.
Yeah.
And the people that were able to survive, where they didn't kill each other when they were together during the pandemic, they're just wanting to get married now.
Yeah.
So I think that's the major push right now.
Well, that's very sweet. Now, another thing, though, when we were talking about, like mobile notaries, you mentioned something that I hadn't thought about. God forbid that somebody, for valid reasons, loses their ID.
Yes.
Like you mentioned, fires and storms, and something needs to be notarized. What do you do in that situation?
Well, where we cannot prove for the person to say who that they are, we have what's called a credible witness affidavit. As a notary public, we are required to have access to these forms. And what we do is we find two disinterested parties that know that person. So if John Smith does not have ID, we'll find a Glenn Smith, no relation, and Glenn Adams, and I will swear them under oath, do you know John Smith, to be as John Smith. So we'll take care of the swearing in first, then I'm able to collect and identify who John Smith is.
Very nice.
And, and there's been several instances, such as car accident, or commonly, believe it or not, people that have lived in these assisted living facilities for a number of years, they just lose their ID or their ID expires.
Yeah.
So they need somebody to step up and handle it. There are many situations that people don't have identification, or there could be situations where they can't sign because of
another thing. Sure.
Dexterity issues, that kind of thing. So we have to use certain documents to be able to do that. Affidavit by mark, that's another format we have to have. Another one would be where they have authorizing me to sign on their behalf as a notary public. And, there's some procedures that you need to go through to be able to bring those documents and those people together with witnesses and be able to help facilitate a signing.
Well, very good. So you have saved many an Aunt Sophie out there and their family, because it gets emotional sometimes. They're running around with like chickens with their heads cut off, and then you're like, don't worry about it, I have a form for that.
This morning was that way. I mentioned earlier that I was at a hospice house on Friday. I was actually there again this morning. Lady was needing some documents done. She was trying to go to the bank, so forth. No one was going to be able to notarize that document because she did not have the proper notarial language that was attached. And again, we carry these in our vehicle.
Yeah.
So we're able to, either my son has them or I have them. And we're able to facilitate that signing. So in a mobile format.
Very good. And so you mentioned like real estate closings. So you definitely, that's another thing you do is real estate closings.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oftentimes we're known as notary signing agents in that world, where maybe a title company or an attorney will call us to help facilitate the closing. They'll send us the documents. We'll print the documents. We'll meet with the person at their location of choice, and we'll go ahead and sign and facilitate those documents, scan them back so they can close it, and then we're off to another signing.
Well, very good. Wonderful. And then the area of coverage, because I said Treasure Coast and beyond. So let's talk about where you cover for your mobile service.
I've gone Orlando, Palm Beach.
Wow.
And again, it really depends on what the client needs. But typically I cover from Martin County all the way up through Brevard.
Okay.
And I go as far as some parts of Osceola and all of Okeechobee County.
Okay, so even out west too a little bit. Very good, excellent. And then down south where the traffic in Palm Beach can be a little crazy.
Yeah, the fee's a little bit more for that.
Okay. And then the other thing we were talking about is we have a growing Hispanic population. And while you do not necessarily speak Spanish, you have been known to help people. And again, like a lot of times, like you mentioned, like people in Mexico were used to in their country where the notaries were attorneys.
Yes.
So you're having to dispel that myth, so to speak, but yet you still want to help. So explain a little bit more about that.
Some of the times we'll find out what are they actually looking for. Sometimes it is simply signing a simple affidavit. We can handle that. But sometimes they need a little bit more, such as working with some immigration forms, that kind of stuff. We can assist with that. But there are other forms where they actually do need an attorney.
Okay.
So we will refer them to an immigration attorney that we work with.
Yeah.
There's many here on the Treasure Coast that we've worked with. But a lot of times it's just kind of breaking that barrier because they don't know where to go. They don't know who to call, that kind of thing. And they're thinking the word notary is the attorney or is the lawyer.
Yeah.
Again, I don't know Spanish. I've heard El Norte, Notario. Again, that's kind of those words, but we try to push them in the right direction. And that's just it. If we're not able to help the person, we will send them someplace to help them.
Very good.
That's the beauty of a network. That's the reason you and I are here today. Is the network that we belong to.
Right.
And we're just trying to help our community.
So you're a connector too. You're a resource.
I like to be a connector.
Very good. Excellent. Now, another thing you mentioned to me, when we were talking before this show is, and you touched on it in the first half, and it's so important to talk about this passion for you to help people get their ducks in a row. So let's talk about these ducks. What do you mean by that?
Well, I renewed my commission in April of 2016. July 25th, 2017 rocked my world. My son was in a horrible automobile accident. He was taken to Lawnwood Regional Medical Center, ICU situation. I ran down there, but because he was over the age of 18, I couldn't find out anything about his condition. So here I was in the business. I've notarized hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of these documents, such as a durable power of attorney or healthcare surrogacy form. And I did not do that. I can tell you, if I can save any parent, save any person without that 30, 45 minutes of anguish, that would be the issue. So I have a passion now to tell people, get their estate plan in order, get their living will, get their last will and testament, healthcare surrogacy, and durable power of attorney. They're easy documents.
Yeah, it's not that hard at all. No. And then they can actually do the research and figure it out, and then bring the documents, or you come to them.
We can help them with the documents.
Okay.
So we can help them with the documents. So it's it's a matter of just getting it done, because I was part of that "it won't happen to me" crowd. Yeah. And it did.
And sometimes it does. But your son, he's okay? Because people are wondering.
Yeah,
good.
He's a notary.
Okay. Yeah, so I know he's okay.
He helps me in the business. So he's a notary public.
Very good. Yeah, it's a family affair, because I saw on your website a nice picture of you and your wife after a particular, I think it was a signing or something like that. So they always say behind every good man is a great woman.
There's always a great woman. And honey, if you're listening to this, you know that.
Very good. Excellent. So we're almost out of time, about 30 seconds. So you know what? Tell your phone number and your web address again, please.
Okay. Phone number is 772-321-2290. And you can reach me online at www.notarynearmenow.com.
Very good. I like that. NotaryNearMeNow.com. That's wonderful. So Jonathan Rexford, thank you so much for being here. You gave a lot of great information that's going to save people some time, aggravation, and money. And my name is Ellen Contreras. I'm the host of Treasure Coast Connector. I hope that everyone has a safe, wonderful, productive week. And until next week, I miss you already.